My name is Imarn Ayton.
Stop killing the man then!
I started BLM, the Black Reformist Movement. I am very much focused on institutionalized racism. Okay, so what I will say is I will happily and humbly accept the defeat when it comes to them being called liars. They have proven themselves to be liars.
Now, this is Imarn Ayton. She organized the largest Black Lives Matter protest in London. And she is also a frequent guest on the UK talk shows, defending both the BLM movement and Harry and Meghan. Now, it's important to point out that after the Oprah interview where Meghan Markle claimed that the royal family was racist because they asked about the color of Archie's skin.
Because they were concerned that if he were too brown, that would be a problem. Are you saying that?
I wasn't able to follow up with why, but if that's the assumption you're making, I think that feels like a pretty safe one.
Iman went on the talk shows to defend Harry and Meghan. Here she is on Piers Morgan's show explaining why the royal family is racist based on what Harry and Meghan said happened to them on Oprah. Check it out.
To say why I call her a liar. She said to Oprah Winfrey her son had not been made a prince because of his skin colour. Absolute lie.
Okay, so this is what, okay.
It's a lie.
By virtue of the fact that you've come out with that opinion or thought, shows me that you have a very rudimentary understanding of racism. So let me break it down to both of you. The reason why institutions are able to perpetuate racism is because they rely heavily on covert racism, which is hard to prove, therefore it thrives. Let me just break it down some more because you clearly don't understand. Covert racism is racial prejudice that is subtle and discreet and often disguised and rationalized with an alternative explanation.
Now, Piers is going to demand that there be some evidence for these claims of racism that Harry and Meghan are making, and listen to how Iman responds.
My point about Meghan and Harry, they say all this stuff without producing any evidence.
And you wouldn't let me finish.
It.
But you wouldn't let me finish. I've already just explained to you. Covert racism is racial prejudice that is subtle and discreet.
But you have to prove it.
Now, hold on a second. No, but this is the issue.
You can't say my son wasn't made a prince because of his skin colour.
Let me explain. This is what I'm trying to explain to you, and you won't let me finish. So let me finish, and you'll be able to raise your point. So someone can come along and say, "Oh, I don't like Meghan because she's this, she's that, she's a liar, she's this, she's that." When the reality is, secretly, it's actually due to the fact... Hold on a second, let me finish, please, Ange. Yeah. It's actually due to the fact that Harry, who is a royal, ended up marrying a woman from the black community. But you cannot say that out loud because that is overtly racist.
It's got nothing to do with...
It is overtly racist and that is against the law. So what you do...
Calm down.
Now, Piers is going to call Meghan Markle a liar. And listen to what Iman says about Piers Morgan calling Meghan Markle a liar.
Here's my point about that. Nothing I've ever said that's critical of Meghan Markle has anything to do with her skin colour.
Okay,
nothing.
So at best...
Either subliminal or overt or any other way. It's to do with her hypocrisy and her lies.
What's hypocrisy? Because you've ultimately said that she's a liar, and that's gaslighting, which I've already told you about.
I also think she's a fake.
We're absolutely clear about what Iman is saying. He is exactly what she wants Piers to know about Meghan Markle's claims of racism in the royal family.
Sorry.
All of those things seem to outweigh the fact that a black woman has said that
nothing to do with her being
Everything
black.
is about racism. She has ultimately turned around and said that institution is racist, and everyone has decided to pile on. So let me just tell you, in terms of my thoughts, at best, these individuals are weak, insecure, hate to see a rift, and have a positive prejudice towards the royal family. And at worst, they are a bunch of disgusting racists who fail to acknowledge their racial prejudice and actually find solace in seeking self-esteem and status from gaslighting black people. It is either one or the other or both.
Iman just laid it out. If you don't believe that what happened to Meghan Markle was racism, then you are the racist. And you are a racist who fails to recognize racism, right? Plain and clear. And it's important to understand, in this conversation, Piers was the one saying that these claims were not racist. And Harry and Meghan were lying about it. And Iman was the one yelling that was obviously racist. It's racist, it's racist, it's racist. As a matter of fact, the fact that Piers didn't believe it was racist made him a racist. That is where we're at the end of that segment. Now, we have to be fair to Iman. She wasn't the only one claiming that Harry and Meghan had called out the royal family for racism. Most of the mainstream media had called it out. And let's not forget, Harry and Meghan actually won an award for calling out racism in the royal family.
At the event in New York named in honor of the late Senator Robert Kennedy, Meghan and Harry were recognized for their work advocating for racial justice, including speaking out about what they say was racism in the royal family. We caught up with the night's host, Alec Baldwin.
Do you think the royal family's racist? No.
Now, this is where the story takes a crazy turn. We're going to fast forward to January 2023. Prince Harry is doing a press tour for his new memoir, Spare. And during one of these interviews, he's asked directly about his wife's previous comments that everyone universally agreed claimed that the royal family was racist. And here's what Harry had to say.
In the Oprah interview, you accuse members of your family of racism. You don't even...
No, we didn't. The British press said that.
Right.
Did Meghan ever mention that they were racist?
She said there were troubling comments about
there was concern about his skin colour.
Right. Wouldn't you describe that as essentially racist?
I wouldn't, not having lived within that family.
So Harry is essentially throwing everyone who supported his wife's claims of racism under the bus. Imarn, for instance, went on Piers Morgan's show and claimed that Piers was a racist because he didn't believe Meghan's claims of racism. But now Harry was saying they never implied that, and that was the British media making it up, pretending there was racism when there really wasn't any racism. So guess what? Piers Morgan had Imarn back on the show to confront her about her and the media claiming that this was racist when it really wasn't. And remember, she claimed Piers was a racist for not saying that what happened to Meghan was racism.
You can continue to perpetuate your covert racism on national
You know what? Okay, I've got to leave it there. I have to leave it there. We've had a good run of this. I don't have any racism covert or overt.
No, you have racial prejudice, and it manifests itself.
I have no racial prejudice whatsoever.
That's what you don't understand about
I have none whatsoever.
That's what you don't understand about
I wouldn't be giving you 21 minutes of my show on a regular basis if I had a racial prejudice.
But this is what happens. So white people tend to justify either sleeping with a black person, having a black friend, or hiring a black person as to make sure they're exempt
and I'm not going to hire you, but I will keep having you back as a commentator if you can provide some facts behind the extreme rhetoric.
Yes, which I did.
You can't just say everyone's racist in Britain, but I can't give you a single example.
I explained to you that she already experienced racism within that institution. I already told you that, and you've gaslit that woman just like the rest of the media.
I know, I'm a gaslighting covert racist. Thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Indeed.
Great to see you.
So Iman's been going around for these past 2 years. Look, we have proof the royal family's racist. Meghan Markle has proof that the royal family's racist. And Harry has come out and said that narrative about them calling the royal family racist was nonsense. And the evil British press was the one that made that up. It's not true. Essentially, he's saying what Iman is saying is not true, and she's making it up. She's just seeing racism where there's no racism. So now Piers has to have her back on the show because, hey, Harry's just called you out. He said they never said the royal family was racist. That was a media narrative to make them look bad. And you, Iman, as a supporter of Harry and Meghan, we're doing that. We're making them look bad. We're throwing out unfounded allegations against the royal family. Harry says you're wrong. This is what she had to say about it.
What I do like, I like getting to the truth.
Yes.
Which is not my version of it. It's not Prince Harry's. It's not Meghan Markle's. It's not even your version of the truth. Truth should be sacrosanct. Yes. And it seems to me we've moved from the royal family were racist about the skin colour of our baby to we never meant to say anything about them being racist.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, you can't do that and let that hang there for 2 years with all of them under suspicion.
So that was never the issue. So I'll just make it nice and clear. They made a claim of racism because the statement itself is racist. They knew it then, they know it now, and they also knew how it was going to be perceived. And I just want
I have not seen a shred of evidence that any member of the royal family was racist about their baby. Not a shred. And now it looks to me like they've climbed down completely and hope we all just move on and forget it.
Okay, so what I will say is I will happily and humbly accept the defeat when it comes to them being called liars. They have proven themselves to be liars. However...
And it's not damaging. Look, you're a Black Lives Matter activist. Is it not incredibly damaging to the cause of trying to get rid of racism in society? And I don't think Britain's a racist country, but we still have racists in it. That in our efforts to try and expunge this country of all racism, it's not very helpful when the sixth in line to the throne throws a race grenade, and his wife does, at the royal family, and it turns out not to be true.
Well, I have to say, so like I said, I will concede that they are liars. However, it does not negate the fact that Harry was bullied and harassed by the media. It does not negate the fact that...
But what about his own bullying and harassment now?
I'm not disputing that point. I'm just saying it does not negate the fact that he was bullied and harassed. It does not negate the fact that his wife had to contend with racism, and it does not negate the fact that he has the right, as an individual, to defend himself when he feels aggrieved.
So now, one of the top figures in the BLM movement in England is now forced to admit that both Harry and Meghan are, quote, proven liars. Now, Iman still claims the question from the Oprah interview was racist, but now questions whether it was said and the credibility of the people who are saying it. Remember, Harry and Meghan are saying that this happened, and she's saying they're proven liars. We can't trust them. So, the question to you, is Iman right? Are Harry and Meghan proven liars? Remember, this was one of their die-hard supporters who were calling people racist for questioning Meghan's claims of racism. Let me know in the comments section, do you agree with Iman, the BLM activist, or do you agree with Harry and Meghan? I'll see you on the next one.